everybody, welcome back. We're going to go over all of my knives. I've got a lot, so we're going to kind of go quick. I'll tell you a little bit about them, just a bit. If I remember what the steel is, we'll tell you that. And I'll try to go in the order that I got them, so this was not first. But, you know, I've got a pile, so we're just going to go with whatever I grab. This is a Camillus knife. I did a review on it. It's titanium bonded, just means it's got a very thin electroplated-ish kind of coating on it. Takes an edge very well, comfortable handle. You can really beat on this knife, and it's also got a good spine for striking a ferro rod. It's like 10 or 15 bucks at Walmart. The case is kind of junk, so you can get a BPS leather case that will fit this. So you might have to do a little work on the sheath, but it's a very rubbery sheath. But again, it's a good beater. It's a good knife, a very cheap knife too. I think it's made out of 440B or C stainless, but I don't know. So Camillus titanium bonded knife. This is just a junk knife. I also got this, I found it while fly fishing actually. This is a beater. It's a very lightweight knife. It's going to take a decent edge. Okay, you're going to hear some background noise. We're just kind of out here in the yard, and there's a guy up the road that sounds like he's buying a motorcycle and has to test drive it. Sounds like he's still figuring out how to ride it, actually. Yeah, quite annoying. We're just going to go forth, you know, and we're just going to continue. So, again, it's got a plastic handle. It's a beater knife, but you're not going to be doing any splitting with this because you'll break that blade. It's probably just a 2/3 tang, so it may come into about here, halfway up the sheath, so a half tang, I don't know. Not very great. Honestly, it's 10 bucks. You can get this for 10 bucks. Go with this, even though the sheath on this seems a little bit better. It squishes into the sheath. Yeah, it's just a distributed by Walmart. I found it fly fishing, and it was a knife. It's a low carry in the pocket, so I don't know, if you don't got this option, you can go with this, and it's a great starter knife. This knife I got off eBay for 100 bucks. The flashlight's missing, or 90 bucks. It's got a decent ferro rod. This is the beargrylls survival knife. Now, I've heard that this might be a counterfeit. This is an awful knife. It's comfortable. It's got a bangy bit on the end here, so you can do some whacking with it, break some glass if you're into that kind of thing. It's got a specific grind out for striking a ferro rod, and it does it quite well from that point. This ferro rod, I think, is from Light My Fire. It's very small. It's also kind of soft, but again, you can really throw some sparks because that cutout and the softness of the rod. But I used it to chop on some wood, and it dinged up the sheath, the blade pretty bad. So it's a very soft steel, not ideal. Like I said, I could probably do this a couple times on this piece of wood, and it will bend this up my sheath here. You can run I can feel it. Run a fingernail over that, and I can feel it right here. It's all screwed up now. I don't like it. I don't use it. It was mostly for review, and honestly, it failed that review quite spectacularly. And I don't like that this goes underneath. So when you're carrying it, like I said, the flashlight's probably in my garage somewhere. It falls out. Velcro up here holds this thing in place. Not a great deal. It's got a little rope cutter down here. It's a sharpener back here. It's a great idea, just poorly executed. I don't know what steel this is. It says it's made by, Gerber Knives. If it is Gerber, it's $10.95. But if it is, they really did not temper this well, or it's counterfeit. Also, the sheath is off. It seems like it fits both direction, but it doesn't hold it very well either directions. Even when it's clipped in, if it's bonked, not even if it's bonked. If you go upside down and give it a little jiggle, it comes out. So without this little Velcro thing, which is going to wear out really quickly, it's not that great, and it's made in China. If that's something you're worried about, compass sometimes work, then not the knife for you. Stack it over here with the rest. What do we got next? This one, actually kind of a champ of a knife. It's got a thick steel. It's $10.95. It's strayed. The handle was like holding onto a wood rasp metal file. So I sanded it so it's much more comfortable. It's a chunk of steel. This is a beater knife. It holds its edge very well, and it takes an edge very well. So I sharpen this guy up. I really like it. It does come with this, like a DLC type coating. supposed to be harder than the steel, but it's got a ferrorod in here. I broke it because I've used it so much, but with that coating on it, does not strike the ferrorod. So I took the coating off, and lo and behold, it strikes it pretty good. Like I said, I broke that, so you do need to give that spine a file, shave off that coating, and then you're good. And I reprofiled the edge because they had like a 30-degree grind on there. And the sheath, if you know how good most of these molded sheaths are, it's better, it's decent, it holds it pretty well, even though it's a chunk of steel. And it's got a steep edge here, so you can push off that with your thumb and take it out. This is honestly one of my favorite knives. I think it was 30 bucks off Amazon, or I got it at Blade HQ, I don't remember which, but I melted this right there so that I knew it would only go into one direction. I didn't want to, I don't know why I did that actually, thinking I wouldn't put that in. I always put it in this way, and it's got this piece of spring cordage or whatever that just pops over like that. I tied that knot to make sure it's nice and tight. Wide belt carry, I like that a lot. I got a little spider living in it, doesn't bother me. But honestly, I would give this guy like an A+, F, and B. But this, A tier. We're putting that in A. I guess we got to go to S tier, right? So whatever. Let's see, what do we got? A good old Buck 119. This is an iconic blade. Great for skinning. It's just kind of your great cowboy style blade, you know. It didn't have a 90-degree spine, very close. So I gave it a bit of a file there, but it's still, out of the box, you can strike a ferro rod with that. It's stainless. So Buck uses, what kind of stainless do they use? Like 8 MOV something, maybe? I cannot remember, guys. In the comments, let us know. It's a epoxy molded kind of handle with an aluminum pummel. This is a really good knife. This, if you're just getting started, this isn't going to be the knife for you because it's priced high, made in the USA out of Chinese stuff. But yeah, Buck knives made in the USA. It's all Chinese, you know, everything. The steel comes from China, I believe. But yeah, this is a great classic knife, good enough for bushcraft. Leather sheath. I've had it for, shoot, going on 10 years, honestly. I don't use it much, but again, very good knife. A tier for that fella right there. This, everybody loves these. This is my Mora companion carbon. I like the Mora. This is the third one I've bought, I think. I filed the spine to make it have its 90-degree spine. It's got your old Scandi grind here, your double chisel grind, classic. Everybody knows that. And then I took BPS builds a sheath for it, and it comes with the ferro rod. So this is a really good option for your just a carving knife. It's not great for beating. I mean, you can. It's 2/3 handle too. It's like a shape in here, molded over rubber plastic. Everyone knows Mora knives very well. This is just held in by tension. It would be a good idea to take some spring cord and go around that through that hole right there. If you can find it in a colored option, like bright colored, I'd go with that. Just so if when you drop it, start a fire and you set it aside, it doesn't disappear. Dude, just buy the motorcycle and leather sheath. I don't take it out. Seriously, dude. Yeah, you're really good at that. Grind me a pound. He busted up his transmission. Anyway, Mora companion, carbon. That's getting this black patina on there. I like that well enough. And that's why you buy a carbon knife, is for that. Keep it clean, keep it dry. Squirt some WD-40 on there now and again. This is an S-tier knife. It's not for splitting. It's not a beater's knife. It's a carving knife, feather sticks and whatnot. And what's next? What's next? Here's my other Mora. This is the kind of sheath that they normally come with. And this is the Mora, I got it for my sister-in-law for my birthday probably 4 years ago. Robust, the Mora Robust. A little bit thicker, but a shorter blade. This is what you'd use for splitting some firewood, though it's going to be small enough. Like, what would you split? Something about that thick. So the blade needs to be longer. They do have a companion in this length that is also as thick as the Mora Robust. So your doesn't watch. It's only like ½ an inch off the end there, but that ½ an inch can make the difference between a 3-inch round and a 2-inch round. But honestly, a piece of wood that that big, you just throw in the fire. You don't need to split it down unless you're making a mess, unless you're just having fun, and then go ahead and do what you want. Classic plastic sheath, might be glass reinforced, might not. It's all made in Sweden, Swedish steel. Good handle, easy to hold on to. A little bit of a finger guard so you don't slide down onto your blade if you're sticking things like this. And that's honestly how you would split larger pieces of wood, is to just take it and jam it down into something. Not like I'm doing a missing, yeah, like that. That's how you do it. It's got a really good thick tip for that kind of thing. Anyway, another A-tier knife for you. This is my newest knife, one of my newest, and this is made by HalfInsaneOutDoorGuy. I think that's how you sell it. It's a Chinese brand, but they are really good knives. I kid you. This is DC 53 steel. It's the bigger brother to D2 steel, and little bit better, a little more vanadium, a little more molybdenum, something like that, to make it a bit stronger, tough to hold its edge. It might not be as tough as D2, but I don't honestly think it matters. You're not breaking this. Like, you're not going to break most D2 knives, so don't get your panties in a bunch. But this right here, great knife. HalfInsaneOutDoorGuy is a relatively new company to me. The handle's very comfortable. It's got some ergonomics to it, so your hand likes it a bit better, and I can choke up on this knife really well because the way that they've designed the sheath, it's brilliant. I simply love this. So yeah, this is like the HalfInsaneOutDoorGuy, and this is the EF 128. They do numbers, they don't do names. I prefer that actually. So EF 128, you're always getting the same knife. The sheath has this awesome belt loop. It's a high waist carry, so you can switch this sideways, but when you're carrying it, it is high up on your hips. So this is up into your ribs. Great for tucking it under the shirt and staying out of the way. I don't particularly like that. I do like to have my knives like this, on a dongle, hanging low, able to move around to get out of my way. But such a good knife. It's held into its sheath so well. This thing holds an edge for days. Thick chunk of metal. It's like my Schrade thickness of a knife here. I'll give you a look at that. It's about the same thickness of that thing right there. Yeah, we're within half a mil of that one, but it's just a beef stick of a blade, and it's great. I really do like that. This is an S tier. I couldn't ask. There's a few things I could ask for. The sheath to have a dongle. So this is honestly, I want to be able to hold this up, have it hang off of me up here. If it were a leather sheath, A+, S, whatever rating system we're giving it. The squirrel's mad at me, don't care. But this HalfInsaneOutDoorGuy, they're doing really well. Really, really good knife. All right, what do we got next? Let's go. This is a classic. I've had this knife forever. This is what I've carried in 90% of my videos. 22 caliber hole, so I can pop the tip off 22 shells and make a fire that way. It's got this nice point for making making divots and drilling for bow drill stuff. It's softer blade, softer knife. It's 1055 steel. BPS Knives. It's one of their earlier knives. I don't even know if they make this anymore. It's not their bushcraft knife, and it just came with this simple leather sheath with a dongle. This is what's honestly in most of my videos. Almost all of my videos I'm using this one. It's a thinner blade, not real thin, probably average, holds an edge decently. It's 1055, so it's not going to hold an edge for a long time, but long enough. I mean, it takes an edge well. It's easy to sharpen, full tang, wooden handle. This is my preferred setup right here. I love the wooden handle. I love the leather sheath, the carbon steel blade. It's great. It's absolutely great, and I've had this thing just forever. I've never had worried about dropping it or nothing. Perfect, fits my hand well. I've got smaller hands, so I can really hold on to that well. And yeah, this is what I do most of my stuff with. Like I said, I've had it forever. Love this thing. You cannot go wrong with a wooden handle leather sheath. This I bought, it was on sale. I got it off of Etsy, and I've had to fix the blade. I don't know if you can still see down that. You see down that blade, maybe you can tell up here is thicker, just a hair. It's not as thick as it used to be. I mean, this used to come out and it would be double the thickness. Like you can tell down here, it's thinner steel than up here. And it came out on one side and did a hump up there. So I took it to a sander and just held on to there for a good while just to even it out a bit more. It's made out of 1095. That's a good beater steel. Like I said, it's handmade. It's got a few imperfections. Two-tone wood with a micarta scales inserts and whatnot. I think we've got olive and our walnut and olive wood in there. It's a decent knife. It's a thicker, more rounded handle, which makes it a little more difficult for my hands. I've got unique hands. I have smaller hands, and then I've had surgery on this knuckle enough that it doesn't bend quite right. But that's a long story. I've got the knife that did that cut here, and I'll show you in a minute. But this, a good one. I'm trying to remember the name of the company. I don't even know if he's in business anymore. If I remember it, I'll put it here, and you can look him up. It was about 150 bucks. I got it on sale for 70. Leather sheath. Honestly though, what I do is I'll take we'll cover this BPS knife in a minute. I take this and I put it inside that sheath. That way I got a lower carry. This is a thinner leather sheath. It's good enough, but it's not, I prefer a bit thicker, a bit more stiff, and a lower carry. Anyway, love this knife. It's a decent knife. I'll tell you, it's a decent knife. You can't go wrong there, A+. This is my second BPS knives, big round handle. For some reason, I can hold this handle better than I can hold this handle. I don't know why. Walnut handle, and the only imperfection here is this scale came loose, the guard here. So it wobbles around. Same thickness as the other BPS knives. I did have to put the 90-degree spine on here, did not have it. 1055 steel, thicker blade, wider blade, longer blade. More of that round shape that everybody loves and is used to for like it's got a better belly for like carving tasks or whatnot. But BPS, it's a good one. I don't even know if you can get this one anymore. I got it off Etsy. I think it was 30-40 bucks. This is one of my flagships. I love this company. I love their gear. I've bought 8 or 10 of their knives. This is their This is a Odenwolf W3. It comes with a sheath with the ferrorod, the very low hang dongle. Love that. Or you can take this off and redo this and just use this clip for your belt. That's completely up to you. This comes off very easily with a couple screws down here. Pop, and it's off. It's got the ceramic insert for sharpening. A unique style blade, and I like this because when you're striking a ferro rod, it nestles into that location very well right there. And then it's got some choil. That's not the sharpening choil. That's chimping, I think. It's like a spear point, except for the top isn't sharpened here. I have beat the living heck out of these knives. Their first one they sent me was 440C, but it was tempered so that it felt like a stronger steel, like a harder steel. This is D2. I much prefer D2. It's like my go-to for everything steel. It is a very good knife. The sheath holds it very well. It feels like a Mora when you plug it into there. Same with this. Nice click. Stays in very well. A great knife. Full tang. You see the end of it sticking out here. Full tang knife. This is my S tier. This is what I grade all their knives on. This has a rubbery plastic handle. It's type of epoxy. I can't remember the abbreviation for it, but it's a polymer, elastomer polymer type, biodegradable. You let this sit in the dirt for long enough, and the moisture it'll break apart. I love this. Love this knife. It'll scrape fat wood right out of the box perfectly. Great knife. Can't go wrong there. Odenwolf makes such good things. Most of their stuff's out of D2. They've got everything from small knives to machetes and carvers. I have to go get the other one I've got. Anyway, we'll come back to that's SS plus. This is the best knife I have right here. This, a classic beater right there. This is another one made by Gerber. This is the knife the beater knife that everybody grades all other beater knives after. This is the Gerber Strongarm. Sheath that's all sorts of customizable. Plastic plus nylon. Snaps to hold it in place into your belt here. You can carry it here or here. You can remove this thing, move it up and down. You've got some strap locations to put it against your leg. But this knife is one that you can It's reversible in the sheath like that, so left or right hand friendly. It's the only knife I have that's like that. Holds the nail edge very well. I think this one is made out of 420 HC. I would bet that the other one I have, this is the other Gerber, this is not 420 unless it's completely untempered 420. This is good though. This will hold an edge for darn near forever. You can beat on this. People have opened oil drums with this knife. Again, Gerber makes pretty good stuff. It's got a nice sharp pummel here. You could smash glass with that and a steal your neighbor's car scenario, whatever you want to call it. Good knife. If you're just in the market for a knife, there you go. A Milwaukie Craftsman kind of carpenter knife. I don't know what a craftsman knife. It's a good knife. I started a review on this, but I never finished it. It's a beater knife for sure. Cheapo thing. I think I got it for 29 bucks at Ace Hardware. Full tang construction, straight plastic, glass reinforced plastic handle. The steel on there, I don't even know. It's not that great, but it takes an edge and it can be very, very sharp. It's a lightweight option. That one's a very lightweight option. A plus on that one. There's some channels out there that have done some real hard beating on this. I recommend one of them is going to be Peterbilt Knives, I think. He did a review on this very knife and compared it to two other Craftsman style knives and beat the living daylights out of them. So go check out his video on that. I might do a review soon on it myself, but decent knife. If you want something just to beat on, here you go. This knife is my most expensive knife. It's the one that gave me this scar. This is a buck knife. It has a dumb name. I can't remember the name of it now, but I did a review on that. I'll link that in the description. I had a ferrorod. It broke. Useless thing. Very narrow belt carry here. So if you got a thick belt, it's not going to fit, but it is customizable. You can remove stuff here and flip it around to whatever. It's just a plastic sheath. I'm pretty sure it's glass reinforced. Did not have, helicopter. This did not have a 90-degree spine. It had chimping here. I filed it right down, made it even all the way along here. It also had some real sharp edges on it. These scales, which can come off with an Allen wrench. Okay, we gotta wait for that helicopter. The scales are and still sharp in some places, and they are smaller than the scales. The steel is smaller than the scale, so I had to file that down. I ran it through my belt sander just to make it a little smaller. I put a bit of a steeper edge or a more shallow edge on there. It's full flat grind, but it's the knife that gave me that scar. And what I did was I took it, put it in a piece of wood like that, and then I held the wood and I bounced the whole thing like that. Shouldn't do that. I'm gonna give myself another scar. So it was right in here on the top, bounced it like that. The knife came out, so when I went down, I hit myself, popped me right here. I'm not sure how, but it was more, and it hit me, and I looked down and went right into the joint. So I looked down. I was wearing a glove, and I looked down into my glove, the cut. I could see my joint in my hand in here, and I didn't know what to think of that. I was like, what in the world is that? Because I'm looking through a cut in the glove. And so I pulled the glove off, and it pulled this down a bit, and it started to bleed everywhere. Lifted my finger like that, and I felt the ligament pop back and hold into my hand somewhere up here. So it really messed up my hand. I had to have 3 surgeries to fix it. The first surgery went well, but then the tendon here had been cut slightly, and it ripped when I was pushing a window open like that. Second surgery didn't fix anything. Went to physical therapy twice, and they're like, this ain't fixed. And third surgery's the charm, but finger forever points inward like this. So when I squeeze down, that finger's in the way, or it either ends up underneath or it goes on top like that. So it's a real pain. Serves me right for not being smart with my knives. Razor's edge on this guy. It holds an edge really well. And that's my buck, my second buck. Real good knife. This one I have a love-hate relationship. This is a Mora Spark. It's got this thing in the back that comes out sometimes. Just a small ferro rod. This is supposed to be like their lightweight, do anything, take it out camping. It's very lightweight, you know. But like I said, love-hate relationship. These handles start to bug me after a bit, and they'll make you have a weird oval-shaped callus here on your hand and on your fingers. Same steel as the other. This is the stainless version, but it's a same quality as everything else. But like I said, love-hate. It's lightweight, fire starting option. Same plastic sheath here as everything else. It's decent. Decent. All right, last but not least, this is my Odenwolf Flat. I've got a short on it, D2, lightweight, long blade, same thickness as, I think it's the same thickness as a Mora. Buy the bike, dude, seriously. A little bit thicker than a Mora. I can feel that it's just a bit thicker. Yeah, D2 steel. This thing holds an edge absolutely fantastically. Love the sheath because it's got the low hang. It used to have buttons on here. The other side of the button's still there, but it broke off. Very hard, so I don't like that. But honestly, the Velcro's good enough. It's not going to pull out of there, especially if it's up against your body. It's going to take a lot of weight to pull out. You'll feel this pulling before it comes out. Plastic sheath. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a drain hole in the bottom so when it does get water in there, it don't sit in its own juices. Should have a drain hole. HalfIngrow started doing that, but the problem with the HalfIngrow one is you're holding up against your body like that and it's peeing on you the whole time. So there's the drain hole. So you're sitting like that, water gets in there and it pisses on your leg. Fun, huh? Yeah, I like the sheath. Love the sheath. It's easy to push off. I don't like sheaths like this. Has such a steep push on there. It's uncomfortable to get off because it starts to pull the skin out from under your thumbnail and it's stiff. But Odenwolf does it right. This one, you push off your ferrorod, but even if you weren't pushing off your ferrorod, you've got a nice purchase there. These ones are the same way. You do it there, you know, the leather ones. This guy, nice edge to push up against, you know. Come on, Buck, get with the game, the program. Even Mora, decent knob to push on. This one, the best of all the knives I have. These two right here are the two that I love the most. Light enough weight. I'm taking this out tomorrow up to the high Uintas. We'll see that tomorrow. But this full tang, this is the same plasticky rubber handle. You won't slip on this. It's a good quality handle. Very well done. Love them. I purchased both of these. Anyway, that is my collection of knives. I have a few. I do. Every time I go out, I have to sit and look at my knives and think, what am I taking out? Normally I pick this one or this one. These are the two that I pick the most. But there you go. That's my knives, my pile of knives. Yeah, like I said, I got a problem. And that's it. That's what I got right there. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, hit the sub button, and I will see you guys on the next adventure. Peace.